in the shade. 96 degrees in the shade. Real hot, oh yes, in the shade. Said it was 96 degrees in the shade. What's up, folks? It ain't 96 degrees right now. Shit. Shit. It's not that bad actually, but it's just cloudy. The temperature's not bad, it's just cloudy. Oh. Had my meeting last night. Somebody told me that they love my cinnamon roll story. I have told you my cinnamon roll story. Go back and check it. It's like a month old, maybe a little bit more. That cinnamon roll, that 3-pound cinnamon roll in San Antonio, Texas, that was my rock bottom. One of my rock bottoms. I've had many. So I'm no longer obese. You know, still got some love handles. I'm still weigh the least amount I've ever weighed in my life. My belt loop is on the last. My belt is on the last hole. I wear the smallest pants, waistlet pants I've ever worn since probably 6th grade or something. You know, I am. I'm fairly lean. I mean, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm in decent shape. But I realized that I have some very, very, very poor eating habits, a very, very poor relationship with food. And I was hurting myself with food. And the fact that I woke up the morning after of my event in San Antonio and barfed cinnamon roll for a total on 5 separate occasions in the morning. That was it. I knew I had to do something. So I started going to my meetings. So I started, I don't know. I learned something. I learned that I'm not supposed to talk about it. First rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. But I started going to meetings. Just to say meetings. Started going to meetings where there were other overeaters. Compulsive overeaters. And just talking and sharing and hearing other people's stories, and really for me to talk out loud and tell my story and how things are going and my history, and I look at things. I'm really learning a lot. So what happened? So I told this cinnamon roll story one day, and I actually got up and it was not a typical meeting, so I stood up and talked. And I like to talk, and I like to be emotional and use mannerisms and use my hands, right? So people enjoyed it. They liked it. The people who were in there, they liked it. And so somebody told me yesterday, I enjoy when you come. I enjoy your cinnamon roll story. And I said, I have a picture of that cinnamon roll story. I says, that picture is going to be in the background of me one day while I'm on stage and I'm talking about how I overcame overeating, or I overcame my struggles with my weight, or I overcame my addiction, that picture is going to be in the background. One of them anyways. One thing I had a conversation with somebody is I had a conversation with somebody last week, and I've made this point before, right? But I've heard it with other. So right now I'm reading the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and learning more and more about addiction, and what they're talking about in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is they say all these stuff like, oh, you don't want it bad enough, or you're not it's not serious enough for you, or you're weak, or you don't have willpower, or and these are all things. If you've ever been overweight, or if you've ever had problems with your food, with your diet, you've heard these things before. And I've been battling this for the past few years and trying to be a weight loss coach. I say stuff that's contradictory or not typical with conventional wisdoms, and I always got backlash for it. I've always heard people like, you just need to put the fork down, or people just need to work out and exercise, or they just need to be disciplined enough, or I've been battling those things because that's not true. It's just not true. And I kind of gave up. I kind of got tired of it, because you can have a guy with six-pack abs selling you magic pills and people will buy them. Or you can have a guy who's been through your struggle and still is going through your struggle and telling you that you need to get some help, and that you need to avoid this food, and that you need to do this, and just tell truths, right? I was never selling anything. I was trying to sell my services, right? I was trying to make a living. I was trying to sell myself as a coach. But all I had was information. I had no cheap shortcut products. I had nothing like that. But you know what? I said fuck it, and I gave up. But what I was doing was battling this stereotype of people who struggle with overweight just lack willpower. I was honestly trying to tell people that they're full of shit. And then if you're skinny, and because I tell you that you should eat fat, and you're skinny and you have heard something different, then fuck off. I'm not talking to you, right? I'm not talking to you. If you're super fit and don't like the advice that I tell people not to work out, go fuck yourself. I'm not talking to you, right? I'm talking to people who are 100 pounds overweight. Physical activity is stress on your body. And if you're carrying 100 pounds overweight, you're under stress the whole fucking time. Every day, you're under stress because you're carrying an extra 50 to 100 pounds. So don't tell me that those people need to work out, that they need more stress on their body. Fuck off. So here's the thing. I'm going to try and quash your whole willpower thing. If you're one of those people like, yeah, fat people, right? It's a terrible thing to say, right? But fat people just lack willpower. I know of a guy, right? I know of a guy that I personally was a little envious of him, because that guy had a great physique, muscles, six-pack, and women were attracted to him just on looking at him. Just on looking at him, they wanted to sleep with this guy, right? Any day of the week, any day of the year, if he took off a shirt, he had this great physique, one people strive for, right? Like he could be a guy who could put a commercial on Facebook and sell, super fit pills, and people would buy them. He had that, and he did not have to work out. He did not train. So he had the body that people advertise that they want to help you get, right? Did he have willpower? Was it because of willpower? Let me tell you this. This is absolute truth. Witness. This guy loved to cheat on his wife. Took every opportunity he could to cheat on his wife and would sleep with anybody he could. This guy watched pornography all the time, to the point where after he got his first smartphone, he realized he can watch pornography on his telephone. He started watching more. This guy smoked cigarettes. I don't know, pack a day. Couldn't stop. And he also drank like a fish, right? Got drunk, smoked cigarettes, chased women, and cheated on his wife and watched porn. But he has six-pack, right? So let me ask you, do you think a guy who can't stop watching porn, who can't stop smoking cigarettes, who can't stop having sexual encounters, who can't stop watching, did I say porn already? Who can't stop drinking, does this guy have willpower? Is this guy disciplined? Just because he has six-pack abs and like 9% body fat or something? That's my question. That's my question. So if you're struggling, right? If you're struggling and you can't stop, if you feel like you can't stop, you feel like you're out of control, don't blame willpower. It's not you. It's not the lack of willpower. Don't let other dickheads out there say that you're not disciplined enough. You're not disciplined enough. That's why you don't want it bad enough. Fuck that. Fuck them. It's hard. It's a struggle. And if they're not disciplined, if they're gonna ask them to put the cigarette down, right? Ask them to stop smoking. See what they go through. In fact, ask them to take one puff 3 times a day. One puff, not one cigarette, one puff 3 times a day. Tell an alcoholic to take a quarter of a shot and see how hard it's going to be, right? Because that's us. That's our struggle. Not only do we got to watch what we eat and not overeat, but we have to eat. We have to eat. All right. I was fired up. Anyways, I hope this helps somebody. This was on my mind. It's Friday, folks. I got some riding to do. I'm gonna ride all weekend, all right? Peace out. See you later.